you would encounter issues of compliance, you would encounter issues of your profit sharing, you would encounter issues of business management, you would encounter issues of persons trying to use your name as you, that's scamming and all the like. So it's very important to discuss with an attorney before you get into any business venture of yours so that he or she can help you cover some of these loopholes.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us on another episode of Iwing Marketplace Chit Chat, where we give the opportunity for entrepreneurs to talk about themselves and what they do so you can learn from them and connect with them. Right here with me, we have Abel Njonguo all the way in Maryland. Abel, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Iwing Marketplace, for having me. It's always fun having a chat with you.
It's a pleasure.
It should be much fun as well.
That's cool. And, you know, it's a very wonderful thing, you know, you decided to come online and share some information with our community. So, you know, we really appreciate that. Can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Thank you. Once again, my name is Abel Njonguo. I am originally from Cameroon. I am an attorney licensed in Cameroon. I do in-house practice in France. I'm licensed in Maryland, and I'm looking forward to joining the bar associations of New York and Washington, D.C. Thank you.
Wow, that's really wonderful. You're licensed in Cameroon, in Maryland, and you're looking forward to, you know, join the bar association in, you know, New York. That's really amazing. You're really doing well for yourself, and I'm really happy, you know, knowing you from Boya when you were still growing up, you know, and seeing how, you know, you've evolved. So today we're going to be talking about, you know, the needs of small businesses when it comes to, you know, legal matters. You know, it's very, very important topic because we at Iwing Marketplace, we want the small businesses to grow, to be registered, you know, so that they can see return on their investment. You know, they can get the exposure that they need and the contract that they need. But they cannot do that without you or without a lawyer.
That's right.
Right. So can you please tell us, like, what are the various ways that lawyers can help small businesses?
There are several ways that lawyers can help businesses as a whole, but it's very important for small businesses because oftentimes you see people going into businesses as startups. These are usually people who have just the acumen to develop that idea of theirs. And so when they embark on that process, it is helpful for them to understand that it is not just about developing their ideas. You would encounter issues of compliance, you would encounter issues of your profit sharing, you would encounter issues of business management, you would encounter issues of persons trying to use your name as you, that's scamming and all the like. So it's very important to discuss with an attorney before you get into any business venture of yours so that he or she can help you cover some of these loopholes.
Wow, that's amazing. You've hit the nail at the right place that is supposed to be. So at Freelane, how do you guys help small business owners?
Thank you. Business law is one of our practice areas at Freelane. And we are a full-scale law firm. That means we offer counseling at all spectrum, end to end of any business venture. By so doing, we help businesses raise capital. We help businesses draft and design their bylaws or operating agreements so that they can make up for issues relating to member benefits. They can make up for issues relating to cost sharing. They can make up for issues relating to lost apportionment, and they can as well make up for issues relating to partnerships, joint ventures. A joint venture is just the same like a partnership, but that is to achieve a particular initiative. So we help from end to end, working with accountants and everything that has to see your business go through. Thank you.
Well, that's really nice. So if I get it in the simplest form, right, you help to draft like contracts.
Yeah,
Go
with
ahead.
issues of contracts, I know startups would just look at it in the word contract as in an agreement between two persons or more, but it goes way beyond that, because the issue is the substance, what you include in the contract, how you understand with whoever you want to do a business with, how you reduce that understanding. Sometimes somebody can actually tell you, hey, let's just do this. I know we can do it together. Yes, you can do it together. But you discover that when it comes to implementation, most of the times people don't align their thoughts at the end phase as it was when they started it. So it's always important to bring the minds together. And the way we do this is to ask pertinent questions. Pertinent questions, for example, include, how do you want profit to be shared? Who is bringing in what? Most people don't know that your skill, your talent is a valuable asset that can be brought into a business. So if you are going into, let's say, a carpentry or a real estate home remodeling, somebody can bring in capital and another person can bring in the skill to do the refurbishing. The value of that skill of, let's say, the carpenter or the woodman is equally weighted as the value of the capital that he will finance the project brought in. But sometimes when you go to sharing profits or making apportionment according to that investment, most people would think that the person who brought the money should benefit more than the person who brought the skill. These are simple errors that startups often make when it comes to real estate. And that's why we are here at Freelane, to guide you all through the process.
Wow, that is so brilliant. I just love that example you made, and this is what we need in our community. There are so many people that are very good in catering, so many people that are very good in hair braiding, and their family members and friends need to come on board and invest some money so that they can grow together and they can share the profit. And we can only do this with lawyers like yourself.
That's a very important point you just touched. And I just want to remind our audience that there's power in population. There's power in culture. There's power in commonality. We have a hugely growing African population in the United States. If you sample particularly around the Washington metro area, you would discover that very few businesses in terms of catering are actually representative of our true culture. It is okay for us to have a Chipotle, which is a Mexican restaurant. It is okay for us to have a Nando's Peri Peri, which is a South African restaurant. It is okay for us to have a McDonald's. Why can't we find common African dishes? Why can't we find common African restaurants? Why can't we grow in this initiative? It is because we have talent everywhere, but we are limited when it comes to exploiting the opportunities in our talents. We cannot do it all. It's important for the entrepreneurs to come. It's important for the investors to come. It is important for the attorneys to come. When you bring these minds together, there is what you call a shareholder agreement or a bylaws or an operating agreement. It is that document that represents the interest of every party involved. And so you can comfortably say at the end of the business period or at the end of the business phase, you would be able to cash out of your investment based on how you agreed at the beginning.
Wow, that is well said. Abel, you know your content area, and I'm praying that everyone watching should be able to contact you and ask questions. It shouldn't end here, we shouldn't just watch, but we should reach out and ask questions to different attorneys, including Abel, to find out more about how we can take our startup from that startup stage to a successful business. Because I know I can see so many people already are doing very well. You know, I know of caterers in
Absolutely.
Maryland and in New York that has been operating for quite some time now. And they've reached to that point where people want to give them big contracts, you know, to do catering for a big wedding, but they are not registered. And they don't have like terms and conditions on how they should operate. And that is something I guess, you know, Freelane can handle, right?
Very, very correct. That's why I said we are a full-scale law firm. We are by full service, I mean we are end-to-end. So we take you from the point where you just have the idea. All we need from you is the idea. Just tell us, this is the idea I have, and ask us, how do I explore this idea? How do I transform this idea into a money-making initiative that is going to be in line with the law? Because it is equally the job of the attorney to link you to the right investment house where they can help develop a business plan for you. It is equally the job of the attorney to get a proper accounting system set up for you. It is equally the job of the attorney to review your registration documents, to make sure that you are compliant with the law, to make sure that you are compliant with the modalities of seed capital funding. Seed capital is just to say there are people who are willing to stake into a fresh idea when they just believe that it's going to succeed. You probably don't have any records, as in financial reports, how you've been doing over the years. But these people believe, based on your presentation, that you have an idea that can be transformed into a money-making initiative. So they give you that seed capital, that first money invest to grow your idea. We put clients in contact with such persons. We make sure that we take that burden of running the operations out of you so that you can focus in developing that fresh idea. That's the job of the entrepreneur. And we are here at Freelane to help.
Wow, that's amazing. The service that you provide is very relevant. You know, I know for sure, like if a business is operating, whether be it a side hustle or a freelancer, you need to have terms and conditions. And you need to be thinking about trademarking. You need to be thinking about using a lawyer or an attorney for advice when you have something that is going on. Like for me, I was managing a business back home and I didn't have that money. It was a real estate business. So we didn't have a huge budget to, you know, hire an attorney full time. So what I did is when I have an issue, I had attorney on standby that I would call them, like Barrister Vanna Jichu or a couple of them, and they will give very good advice. And I'll come out, you know, from a situation instead of trying to think it through myself, which I don't even have the skills. So I'm really, really hoping, you know, we can move from that point where people are trying to do everything themselves and use the service of an attorney, use the service of a lawyer, use the service of experts that can give very good advice so that, you know, we can grow. So talking about trademarking, you know, is it important for like somebody who is still starting to trademark their business, or how does that work?
It is very, very important for somebody who is starting and even somebody who is already in business to trademark their business. Before I touch on the topic of trademark, you just talked about consulting with attorneys and asking them questions regarding your real estate business. I just wish to notify your audience that people should not be scared to meet an attorney to talk their legal issues out, because in terms of fee basis, there are several fee arrangements that you could have with an attorney. You could have a contingency fee arrangement. A contingency is just a simple way of saying, I don't have the money, I need your services, but we can do it in such a way that when this thing starts paying, I would be able to maybe give you a percentage of it. I'll be able to maybe come back someday and pay you. And you could equally do what they call a payment plan. You could have a flat fee arrangement. You could have a per hour arrangement. You could have a contingency arrangement. You could have a payment plan options. There are several options. The goal, again, is not for the attorney. I don't know for other attorneys out there, but at Freelane, our goal is not to pool money. We are not
driven by money.
A sock away pipe to pull out money from clients. That's not our goal. Our philosophy is built on the understanding that we only succeed when our clients succeed. We cannot take money from you and not give you the kind of advice you require, such that your venture fails tomorrow, and instead of giving us a good referral, you tell anybody who is coming our way that don't go to those people. No. We are built on reputation. We pride ourselves on the services we offer. That's Freelane. And coming back to your question on trademark. A trademark is an identity, it's a source, it's a communication that you want your clients to have at the back of their mind, such that when they see a sign, when they see a writing, when they see an inscription, when they see any identification, their mind should automatically direct them that this is the source of the product. We live in a world that, let me say, is too intertwined. We have too many activities going on. For example, there could be somebody having Freelane in California. There could be somebody having Freelane in France. There could be somebody having Freelane in Maryland, in Jamaica, in Seychelles, wherever you think a business could be run. So it's your place as an entrepreneur, as an investor, to make sure that the source of the product that you put out in public is easily traceable and identifiable to you. That's the concept of trademark. So it protects your identity as a business. Now, if you are Iwing Marketplace, for example, and you put out an Instagram live video with Abel Njonguo of Freelane, and somebody goes out there to put in another Instagram video and claim identity to the name Iwing Marketplace, and then I go to the Federal Register to check, I see that Iwing is not registered trademark. That other person maybe is claiming. At the end of the day, both of you start fighting as to who owns the identity of Iwing Marketplace. That creates a source of confusion to your customers or clients. That creates distrust. That makes you to lose customers. That makes you to run out of business. That brings liability upon you, because if it goes to court or if it ends up at negotiated settlement, you would still have to pay. So why don't you just sacrifice that time, come to Freelane, ask us how, and we just get your business trademarked, registered, design the structures for you, and save you the stress of liabilities. You should be making money when you commit to an investment. You should not be paying bills on liabilities. Thank you.
Wow, man. You've touched on trademarking, you've touched on business registration, you've touched on contract management and everything. It's really a great pleasure to have you today. But before we go, what one advice do you have for people who are, small business owners or people who just have side hustles? What advice do you have for them in regards to, legal issues?
There are two things I would like to tell business owners, startups, investors, entrepreneurs. The first is the temptation of do it all. There's what we call at Freelane the do it all trap. The second is what they call in law co-mingling. The do it all trap usually holds up to most startups, because as an entrepreneur, you would want to undertake every aspect of your business. You have the challenge of capital. So with limited finance, you are unable to hire adequate workforce. You are unable to explore areas that you lack expertise. And so you would either develop what you are good in, which is the business idea you have. You want to run the attorney job by going on Google to just search maybe a contract template. You don't understand key terms. You don't understand the psychology of the person you're dealing with. You don't understand the nature of the environment you are about to enter. You don't know the compliance regulations. All you know is the Google template. Now you print that out and you present it to somebody for signature. You are going, by the end of the day, you are trying to have your report, your financial report up and running. You need to account for sales on that day. You need to account for payment of your staff. You need to go back to and dedicate some time to make sure that this idea of yours is actually developing. At the end of the day, you find that you spend more than 18 hours a day working, which diminishes your efficiency. You are lacking because you have not done a good job with your contract drafting, because Dr. Google has given you what you think is right, but which is leading you to problems. And then your financial reporting is not up to date. Your management structure is porous, has a lot of loops. Your brain is convoluted. There's too many ideas in your brain that ends up making you to crash from burnout, making you to await liabilities, making you to run into problems with your investors, and just making you to kill yourself for no good reason. So business owners should avoid the do-it-all trap. Next is the issue of commingling. I would explain the concept of commingling from the perspective of a limited liability company, because most businesses start up as limited liability companies. If we go into shareholder structure and incorporation, I think that would be too complicated for our audience today. But a limited liability company is just a legal jargon of saying the business is separate from its owners. For a business to be separate from its owners, it means the business has to be designed in a manner that shows the owners do not have excessive control beyond the extent of their capital. With most entrepreneurs or startups, because you try to do everything by yourself, you find yourself in a situation where you pay yourself when the board has not approved. That's stealing. You take money from the business account to run an initiative when the board, it might be a one-person owned business, but that one person has to be the president of that business and the chairman of the board of directors of that same business. So if you are the leading member of that business, what you need to do is to give yourself the mandate to act on behalf of that business. For example, Iwing Marketplace is different from Ivan. Ivan cannot go into the coffers of Iwing Marketplace, take money, pay for a trip to Washington, D.C. to attend an entrepreneurial conference or seminar, and just pays for his next trip to Florida to attend. It doesn't work that way, even though he is the founder and owner. Iwing, as the founder, sits as the chairperson or the member of that structure of Iwing Marketplace. And Iwing, as the individual managing Iwing Marketplace, who is the president, has to be authorized by Iwing, the chairperson, to conduct businesses on behalf of Iwing Marketplace. That's a little bit complicated because this is one person wearing two hats. And these are the temptations that we see very often at Freelane when advising businesses, especially when they run into problems. So because of that, the court will take out what you call that limited liability structure. It will now look at you as an alter ego, another personality, another image, a shadow of yourself. So that business becomes a shadow of yourself, which means it is no longer limited in liability. So if Iwing Marketplace runs into any problems in future, Ivan as an individual will be held liable. That means if Ivan has just bought a house in Long Island, New York, and Iwing Marketplace is in problems, the court is going to take that house. They will take that house to pay for the debts because of the issue of commingling. That happens very often. In fact, I can say about 95% of the cases that we've had are issues on commingling. So come to us at Freelane. We will help you with designing an employment structure that meets the requirements of a 21st century business enterprise. Thank you, Mr. Ivan.
Wow, man, you've touched on so many issues, and I hope we take everything serious. It doesn't matter how small your business is. You need an attorney to help you with your terms and conditions, you know, to help you with employment issues. Because, you know, when it comes to money, people are different. People will say one thing, and when it comes to execution, they won't do it. And then you lose money. But if everything is in a contract, it can help to mitigate the risk that is involved. It's not like there is no risk. Everything we do is very risky. But your role as an entrepreneur is to overcome the risks and to make profit at the end of the day. And you can only do that if you have a proper structure. A proper structure meaning a good attorney, a good accountant, and a good team. And you need to constantly train them on legal issues. Because, for example, if you're running a restaurant and they're cleaning the floor, right, without having the wet floor safety notification, if somebody falls, they're going to sue you.
That's right.
So you need a lawyer or an attorney to constantly come in and, you know, talk to your staff, remind them on, you know, the legal issues that can affect your business, as well as, you know, drafting employment contract between you and your employee. It doesn't matter how small your business is, even if you have just one employee, even if you have 2 employees or 10, you need all the system in place if you want to make it. Thank you so much, Abel. This has been a very fruitful discussion, and you've just given us so much, and we're going to listen and watch and share in order to help our community. Thank you all for watching. It's been a pleasure being with you today and sharing vital info. Abel?
We're always here. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, Abel, for your time, and the video will be available on our YouTube channel and on our podcast, Iwing Marketplace. Please share. Please tell someone that Freelane Law is here to help them. And Abel, how can people contact you?
You can reach us at www.freelanelaw.com. You could reach us at info@freelanelaw.com. 240-906-7623. Once again, 240-906-7623. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abel, and we are out. Thanks for watching, guys.